Hello, future millionaires. This is Aztec. This is the CSC. We got a lot to talk about today. This is going to be my kind of end of the year video because I'll be away during New Year's. We're going to go ahead and talk about where I think we're going in the near future with Bitcoin. We're also going to talk about the CBOE and the CME contracts and how I think 2019 will be a lot different than 2018 in the way that these contracts play out. And I also want to talk about stable coins because they affect the market, and with more stable coins being implemented, the market is changing. There's a lot of room for moves from the exchanges that are behind these stable coins to basically manipulate the market in their own way. So it's not just wells, that we're looking at and tracking. We're now looking at exchanges and how they're moving and how all of this kind of translates to the future of the market. So let's go ahead and get started. I've been on the money throughout this entire Christmas rally. I called the start. I called pretty much every piece throughout here, guys. And this really is just my present to you guys. I don't ask for anything from you guys. I just want to be a part of the community. Crypto community, and of course the Cardano community. This is my contribution, my charts, my information. I have a lot of valued information that I've learned from very influential people in this space, and I am continuing to learn. So I don't know everything, but I hope that I can bring some value to you guys and help you guys become either better traders, better hodlers, or maybe just understand the markets better in general, so that you can teach other people and be effective in your own way. But yes, I've called this whole rally very well. I traded it very well, and I've been trading the breakdown very well. Could have done better, but definitely very well. Just recently, my last video, I actually called this bear flag. I said here on the 25th, about 3 days ago, they said that we would hit, my target was right around 3,557, and we actually, if we zoom in, we actually hit, this bear flag broke down to a little bit under 3,570. So I was less than $20 off in this prediction in this fall. So my orders filled, and I am looking for a bounce, and we'll get into why. So we are forming what looks to be another bear flag. So it's very possible that we actually break down again, just like we did here. And the bearish scenario, we'll go over that first to get that out of the way. We could definitely come down to about the $3,400 area for Bitcoin. That's basically where I think we could break down to next. There's not as much support down here, from this rally, but there is a lot of support in the $3,400 area in the past. So that would be the next major support level that we could break down to. It is possible because there's a lot of pressure from this rally to break down, and the overall sentiment, is still really bearish because we've been falling for a long time, and a lot of people made a lot of calls saying that we were going down to $2,900, $1,500 Bitcoin. So this rally, a lot of people, have been pretty bearish about it, calling it a dead cat bounce and, many things like that. So, we could definitely break down from here. This is forming a bear flag, but let's go ahead and talk about the bullish scenario here, which I'm thinking that we'll get. I'm not saying we'll get a rally, but at least a bounce in the short term. If you wanted to trade that, you would have bought, right around this area down here at 3,550, where I was thinking. I know on Binance I got the call 100% correct. It actually went down to 3,550. So there's a lot of support here. So bullish scenario where if we take the Fibonacci levels, we start at the bottom of the rally we bring them up to the top of the rally. We're sitting on top of the 0.618, and just like there's a lot of resistance at the 618, there's a lot of support when you're breaking down. So there's enough support in this area just with the touches back here, and also that it is the 618 for us to bounce. But also, if we just kind of look at this now, you'll have to follow my cursor here just to make this clean and easy, because I already have a lot of lines drawn up. We'll just kind of make this easy. We start here at the breakout, and we're going to call the waves. Now we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 5 waves here. So if we're looking for a correction, even though this correction is pretty ugly, we have our A, B, C correction. So not only are we, in an area where there is a little bit of support, we're also on top of the 618, and we've seen a full cycle here, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the A, B, C correction. So there's a lot of data suggesting that we could see a bounce here. Our 4-hour chart indicators, if we look at those, we're on the Bitcoin USD 4-hour Coinbase chart. We got to a low of 33 on the RSI, so it's a pretty oversold, decent area to bounce from. I would have liked to seen this go a little bit lower to feel a little bit more bullish on a bounce. But 33 is definitely oversold, and it's an area where we can bounce from. So RSI, at least short term, this is the 4-hour, it's not the daily. In the short term, we could see a bounce. And our MACD is low and looking to possibly scoop up and over the trend line. This histogram here, it was pretty bloody here when we broke down recently. And it's been subsiding. We broke down today, and it's subsiding. We could see, this turn green and us, break above this trend line and see a bounce, due to this MACD. So, we could even just come down again and touch the 3,550 area again, and then, get that scoop upward and bounce. But essentially, this is like that area where I think that we could see a bounce. But in the short term, what I'm doing is, I did put it, my positions were filled, around this area. I put in some small positions looking for a bounce, and I have stop losses set. So, if we break down, it'll be kind of a wash. So I'm being very careful in this area. I understand that we are in very bearish times still, even though we got this Christmas rally, and that we could break down. So, I understand that, though there's a lot of information suggesting we could see a bounce here. Now, I wanted to get into the whole CBOE and CME futures contracts and kind of talk to you guys about that information, because there's a lot of information here that is suggesting that we could see a really different 2019 shaping up. Basically, if we look at this website that I've looked at with you guys in the past, we see that we have a past event here. This is Bitcoin past event. It was December 19th, and the CBOE expiration date was on that day. So let's go ahead and go back to the 19th, and let's go to the daily candles Let's go ahead and zoom in. This was the 19th here. Now, generally, in the past, all throughout 2018, we've seen these futures expiration dates be extremely bearish. You can go ahead and look up the dates for yourself and go throughout the year and look at the consistency that we've seen. A lot of these expiration dates have led the markets to move downward, crash, whatever you want to say. But here's the 19th. You can see it indicated right here, 19th. And the candle we got here was, we actually closed a little bit above where we opened, which basically indicates to me that there essentially was as many bulls as bears, in the well community at this time. There was a lot of movement. You can see that we actually moved up pretty high and then came down from that high on that date, but there wasn't enough bears, wells that were bearish to see a breakdown on this day, which is bullish, because essentially that means that the wells are starting to become more bullish to a point to where it's almost as if they're as many bears as there are bulls at this point with the within the well community to give us this kind of candle. So what is that suggesting? That's suggesting that with contracts, with these futures contracts, there are two people involved. There's someone that's generally saying Bitcoin's going to go this high, and there's another person saying Bitcoin's going to go this low. The futures are essentially there. Futures were started to bring market structure, but you can also leverage these contracts and kind of essentially bet it's going to go up or down. And we all know that the wells basically buy Bitcoin over the counter and use that cheap Bitcoin to influence their the exchanges to move the price to get the price that they want, and this day was one of the strongest days I've seen in a long time, and really just suggests that there are a lot more bulls in the well community than there was throughout 2018. So this is a really strong candle. And we didn't break down on this day, so it's really good to see. Now today it's the 28th, and if we look at this calendar, this is the upcoming events. We have the 28th of December. This is the CME Bitcoin futures last trade date, and on this date we definitely see a lot of downward movement throughout the year. And if we go back to the chart here, we're actually seeing a decently stable day. This here is actually my let's go ahead and just delete this. That wasn't a wick. This is the candle here. So we got a really decent day, and here's another candle. We'll just go ahead and delete these candles so you guys don't think they're wicks. Essentially, this candle looks pretty decent. It actually looks very similar. It's just starting. The 28th is just starting, so we have a lot of room to move down today, but I don't think that we'll get that. I actually think that today this price of Bitcoin is actually very similar to the 19th price. We closed at about $80 more than we are right now on the Bitcoin price. So the wells kind of use both of these contracts here, and you're seeing these prices on both of these dates very close to each other. There's a very good chance that we actually stay here today and bounce tomorrow with the way that the markets can be manipulated with the over-the-counter Bitcoin. So this is very interesting to see, and basically the main takeaway here is that we're not seeing breakdowns, which is showing that there's more bullish wells coming to the market, which could suggest that the trend is, the bearish trend is slowing, and that they will start betting towards, the market going up and manipulating the market in their own right, moving it upward, from here. So, guys, this is very interesting to see. And just to kind of go over the difference here, I brought this Google excerpt up. It says a key difference between the CBOE and CME futures is that the CBOE contract represents 1 Bitcoin, while a CME contract represents 5 Bitcoins. The CBOE also settles its futures against a daily price auction from Gemini, while the CME uses its own Bitcoin reference rate which tracks several cryptocurrency exchanges. So they're basically both futures contracts that I've been talking about, but one is from the CBOE and the other is from the CME. And this is the difference. It's just the way that they're settled and the amount of Bitcoins that are contracted here. So that kind of explains the difference. So per the chart, we're seeing something that is a lot different than what we've seen throughout 2018, and this is very indicative of more bulls that are whales that are moving into this space. And we also know that a lot of smart money is trying to move into this space. So these are all indicators, fundamentals that are suggesting either, sideways movement or upward movement, essentially a slowing of the bleeding. So that's good news in my book. And then also I want to talk about, we'll kind of pivot here and talk about the stable coins. There's this article that was produced on October 25th of this year, and it says, why do all big companies create Tether-like stable coins? Coinbase and Circle case explained. This is an interesting article. Basically the reasoning they give here says the advantage of such digitalized dollars, Coinbase explains, is that they are easier to program, quick to send, can be used in dApps, and can be stored locally rather than in a bank account. A good dollar stablecoin is an important step towards a more open financial system. And down here it says it is much more likely that Coinbase and Circle are trying with the USDC to compete with Tether. They want to establish their dollar as a counter currency to cryptocurrencies in trading. The USDC act less as a means of payment than as an instrument to determine the value of cryptocurrencies. So, this is their explanation, but everyone knows there's news for the masses and there's news for the classes. So there's, many reasons. And in the case that I've noted is that stable coins are really used to kind of wage war between the exchanges. Now, an exchange can buy up Bitcoin, at certain points to inflate the price, to drive up the price on other exchanges, and they can manipulate the market like that to basically buy Bitcoin cheaper or sell it for more, and buy it cheaper in other places. And they also can just make the market with the stable coins because they can pump money into coins, and this can be used in different ways and for different little reasons. So it's interesting that we see Coinbase create this stable coin with Circle. The reason I brought this up with you guys today is because this rally, let's go to the 4-hour chart. we're looking at the Coinbase chart. And what I've found so interesting about the charts recently is that Binance was always kind of inflated. The prices of cryptocurrencies were always a little bit higher throughout 2018. And it was due to USDT. USDT was, on Binance, and Binance was able to use Tether to, move the market in their own way. And you saw that because the price of the cryptocurrencies were always a little bit inflated in comparison to Coinbase throughout the year of 2018. So, example of what I'm saying, Bitcoin on Coinbase would be 3,600, let's say, just throwing out a rough number. This is just an imaginary number. And on Binance, it would be $30 more, $3,630. And in some cases, there were some really big Tether spikes where people were moving out of Tether and into coins. And you saw, Tether drop and these coins on Binance just kind of shoot up. So now that Coinbase has this USDC coin, I've actually seen Coinbase have a more inflated cryptocurrency prices than Binance. So it's interesting because what this shows me is that Coinbase is really using their stable coin to inflate the price and move the market. I think they're probably trying to learn with probably their own algorithms and get everything together to wage war against the other exchanges in 2019. But what was interesting was that if you compare charts, during this breakout, all throughout this Christmas rally, the Coinbase chart was more inflated. If you just take the Bitcoin price, you look at the Bitcoin price on the Coinbase charts versus a Binance chart, and Coinbase charts were more inflated, meaning Coinbase was using the stable coin more to inflate the price. And from my sources, guys, here's kind of like, I'm just throwing a little tidbit out there, you guys can interpret this however you like. My sources were suggesting that they were doing this due to their kind of like a marketing ploy, because they had their 12 days of Christmas announcements. Every day at 12 they were announcing a new announcement essentially. They announced cryptocurrencies and new updates to the Coinbase exchange. And I believe, in my opinion, it's just an opinion and based off my sources, that Coinbase was pumping the market essentially, which is totally legal, guys. There isn't very much clarification on how these markets can perform and be manipulated at this time. So this is okay for the Coinbase to do, if they were doing this. But basically, seems like they were pumping the market to bring people into this space, to bring buyers into cryptocurrency, to buy cryptocurrencies for the holidays, and even bring attention to Coinbase because they're trying to compete with all the other exchanges. So all this information indicates that Coinbase was really rallying. I also think the whales are starting to be more bullish. So I think this rally really has to do with Coinbase and the whales. There's less bearish pressure from the whales, and Coinbase is using their stablecoin to wage war against the other exchanges, pump the market for marketing purposes. So this is a really interesting time because 2019 could produce some higher highs, just due to more positive sentiment from the whales and these exchanges trying to battle each other out using their stable coins. So Yeah, guys, I know I've dumped a lot of information on you, but this is my end of the year video. I don't think I'll be able to make another video. I'll be away, so just wanted to kind of throw out a bunch of information that I've been collecting throughout the year and show you how the game is changing for 2019. This is all important information to consume and think about, because this will affect the market in the future and potentially move the market a lot differently in 2019. So please do your own research and take this into consideration. You know, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving financial advice anytime throughout this video or any of my videos, but I am bringing value to you guys to, you know, hopefully help you guys decipher the market better or trade the market better. So not financial advice, guys, just my observations and opinions. And I hope you guys traded this rally well and learned a lot from it. And I hope the best for 2019, guys. I think we're going to see a good year. I know a lot of people are still suggesting, you know, multi-year bear market, but I don't see that smart money is on the same page as that. I think smart money is moving into this space, and they're looking to make money, and the only way they can make money is if there's a lot of people in this space. And if there's a lot of people in this space, you know, a lot of new investors, things like that, that means the market cap is going to go up. So in my opinion, 2019 is going to be a great year. So if you're hodling, you could see some, you know, there could be some light at the end of this tunnel here. And if you're trading, you know, there could be some really big gains to gain here, guys. So I hope you're all doing well. Hope you found this information interesting, and I wish you all a great end of the year. I hope you all do well in this market. I hope you and your families have a great end of the year. I wish you all the best from me to you. I wish you the best and a happy new year. And yeah, never give up on the future of money. Take it easy.